You cannot really be taking people to the ground all the time. And a lot of people have a misconception with kicks. Like a lot of people be saying, you can't use kicks in bars, you can't use kicks in club fights, you know? Situational awareness. What's up, man? So, situational awareness, always watch everything, guys. So you can't use kick in club fights, you can't use kicks in this or that, right? So, it's like, yeah, you can. To bounce or not to bounce? That is the question. Now, this applies to me at the moment, and I'm also gonna briefly talk about if to bounce or not to bounce applies to you. Now, that said, this weekend was the first weekend in a long time in the Netherlands where they cut off all the corona restrictions. No more surgical masks necessary, no more other kind of restrictions necessary. So really nothing is necessary anymore. No QR codes, you don't need to be vaccinated, none of that stuff. So I went out 2 nights ago, and I went out basically Friday night. I went out and I also hooked up a friend of mine that lives in the city that I live at now. He'd recently moved to Amsterdam, so he hit me up and he asked me, if I basically if I know anybody in Amsterdam that can hook him up with work, because he recently moved there, and everything is opening again. He's also a bouncer, so basically I hooked him up with a real OG.
Hugo Broers, een echte bekende in het Amsterdamse criminele circuit, verdient in zijn leven miljoenen met hashhandel, ripdeals en intimiderende incasso's, waarbij grof geweld niet wordt geschuwd.
Ex-bouncer, ex-gangster that I know from Amsterdam. Hooked him up with him, and they apparently hit it off, and then he proceeded to ask me if I'm not gonna go back to work. And I had 2 different people get a hold of me, including here in the city that I'm at now. They're probably gonna need a bouncer in different bars because they were closing at 10, 1 when they were allowed to open, and it was a point where it was just a lockdown. But now they're allowed to open again, and they're needing bouncers everywhere again. Because keep in mind, guys, like in bars, right, everything starts between 1 and 3 a.m. So if you're closing up a bar or a club at 2, 12, at 12, 11, like before 12, before 1 and 3, it's basically not much gonna happen. Most drama happens after 1, between 1 and 3. That's a worldwide thing. It's the same in Mexico, it's the same in Los Angeles, it's the same here in Holland. It's just how it is, It's yeah. So basically that's what I'm sitting at with now, I don't know whether to do it or not, because I had told myself I'm gonna stop bouncing. I've been arrested enough, I've been in enough fights, I've been doing it in so many countries. But just being out the other day and just standing there and being around the music and the girls, it's like I cannot say that I don't miss it. I miss it badly. And it's so I'm thinking whether I should do it or not, whether I should just stand at the door again or not. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think I should stand at the door? I could wear a body cam, if anything does happen, I'll record it, and can make some good videos, of course, if I stand at the door as well, maybe. Especially now that everything is opening again. In the bigger cities, they're really needing new bouncers in many different doors, and everything is opening back up, so it is gonna start to get busy again here, as far as the nightlife is concerned, and whether you should bounce or not. Maybe you've been considering it, maybe you haven't, maybe you've been watching my videos and you're thinking about it. It depends. If it's important to you to have genuine confidence, to build your character, and to get some real life experience, watching people possibly getting into fights, diffusing fights. The rush you get from working in bars and jumping in the middle of fights is a rush that very few people are ever gonna get to know in their lifetime. And I'm honestly happy that I have felt that, and that, you know, it really builds your character, prepares you for anything real that might happen. Keep in mind, right? I tell this to people all the time, right? For example, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu works really well for cops because they always outnumber people. I mean, cops don't even engage if they're not outnumbering you most of the time in most countries, you know? They always have backup. They have a belt, they have guns, they have tools. So if you're a cop taking somebody down to the ground using jiu-jitsu and you only have other cops around you, hey, that's all gravy. Of course it's gonna work for you. But us bouncers, we're always outnumbered. We don't have guns. We don't have the luxury of just jumping in whenever we're outnumbering people, because we never outnumber people. I mean, the numbers of the clubs themselves, I mean, we're always gonna be outnumbered. That's just the way it is. But this is why it's a lot more riskier, and you cannot really use jiu-jitsu. You cannot really be taking people to the ground all the time. And a lot of people have a misconception with kicks. Like, a lot of people be saying, you can't use kicks in bars, you can't use kicks in club fights, you know? Situational awareness. What's up, man? So, situational awareness. Always watch everything, guys. You should bounce or not, that is completely up to you if that is as important to you or not. If possessing real confidence, you know, maybe building those knuckles a little bit, you know, maybe, you know, getting a few scars, if that's important to you, you know, not to bring up movies, but like Tyler Durden says in Fight Club, when Edward Norton says, you know, I've never been in a fight, that's a good thing, and then Brad Pitt's like, no, it's not. How much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? Really, how much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? I know it's a fictional character, but that's a really good question. You know? So, that's actually one of the favorite characters from the guy who actually created and made that movie. His name is Arnold Milchan. I gave him private lessons in Acapulco for a little while, and you know, he's a really hardcore guy. Maybe you guys want to look him up. You might not know who he is, but every single famous person knows who he is. He's a big-time producer, and he's basically the mind behind Fight Club. And Tyler Durden is one of his favorite characters, even though he's a billionaire and all that. But think about it, like, Tyler Durden is like a loser in many ways, but he's free. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is if that's important to you or not. You know, being able to say I've been in fights, like knowing just for yourself that you can handle situations in the case that you haven't been in them, or in the case that you want to test your own martial arts and these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that said, you know, in most places, like if you're in America, it's not hard to bouncer. You know, I mean, in most places you can. It's just a matter of the club hiring you. Most times you don't need like a clean record or any kind of certificate or diploma or any kind of papers in most cases. As far as when I worked, that's how it was, and I'm pretty sure it's still like that now. Here you need, you know, you need certain things. You need like a diploma, you need a certificate, you need to get the okay from the police. It's not just 1, 2, 3 to bounce in Holland. So if you're here and you're thinking about doing it, you know, I'd say do some kickboxing first. If you can handle the sparring, you're good to bounce. Just you know, then worry about getting the paper and then just bounce, you know. But if you're in Holland, I really suggest you do that. Take up some kickboxing. You know, don't do like combatives or Krav Maga. That's not going to help you much in reality, you know. So take up some kickboxing, see how you do against other people, different sizes, things like that. It's not the same thing as bouncing, but it'll at least sort of prepare you for it. You know, at least you know whether you can take a kick, give a kick. Most people here, most guys that fight can kickbox anyways. So and they're not afraid to take a hit or give a hit because they're used to the hard sparring here. So, you know, in case you haven't seen my video on CTE and brain damage, I made a live video with Giethoorn. I'll link it down below. You guys can watch that video. I talk about the difference in mentality when it comes to how we think here as far as brain damage and how to think in the rest of the world, basically, you know. Because in the rest of the world, everybody seems to be afraid of CTE right now and brain damage. And that's fine. You should be, especially if you're not going to compete, you know. But if you're going to actually fight, if you're going to go in the ring, maybe the Dutch way of doing it is a little better for quite a few reasons, at least in my opinion, or maybe even a lot better. But, you know, you guys can check that video down below, see what you think about that. And, you know, I'm not even going to give any advice as to bouncing in Mexico because it's a whole different thing over there. I mean, over there, you cannot just bounce. I mean, there it really takes a different kind of people that do that. You cannot just bounce if you're Mexican, and most Mexicans are not watching the channel anyways because most don't speak English. So that's it. I will be starting a channel in Spanish very soon. And you know, for you guys that speak Spanish, you can try and follow me there as well. If not, just keep following here. I mean, I'm not gonna stop loading up as regularly as I do here. I'm simply gonna have more work once I start that channel. That's it. That'll be this for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I'm also gonna I'm gonna make like a post on my community where I'll have you guys vote whether I should bounce or not. I mean, it's not really gonna have any influence, you know, whether I do it or not. If you guys say yes or no, I'm just curious what you guys think. And I'm really thinking about it and considering doing it. You know, it's the only thing is I would really hate to get arrested and not be able to load up videos and lose touch with you guys for a month or 2 months. I would really hate for something like that to happen, you know. But that's the risk you take. As far as fights and all that, I don't even care. If that happens, it happens. It's all good, you know. But it's more the consequences of fights that I don't look forward to, because I've done that so many times. So, you know, that's it. Till the next video, guys. Catch you later.
Amsterdam.